your E.T.Looper life coach visionary, and this is the Cultivation Corner, where cultivation starts with us. This evening, I actually have a special guest, and this is none other than. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine. I am a speaker, life coach, and overall, most importantly, a woman.
She is. She is absolutely a woman. Every 30 days, there's a situation that reminds both of us that we are absolutely women.
Wow.
Unless we miss one.
Are you sending shots?
I'm just saying,
Do you have like shots fired?
You don't get a menstrual?
Yes, but
Okay.
that's not even. Can we get shots
Shot, go ahead.
fired?
Shoot.
Did she just try to come at me for my introduction?
Absolutely.
We're not. No, we're not about to
I'm
do
just
this.
saying. She's the person that gets in your car and wants to touch your radio.
Of course, because why are we listening to this? Are we listening to trap music, R&B, or gospel?
So you can play all three.
Right.
Because it's in me.
But I'm just saying, we gotta monitor the mood. I just can't just get in your car and not make it, safe. And I'm also the one that's gonna get in your car, and if I don't trust your driving, I'm like,
I got it.
Yeah, I would rather drive because I just don't know if you see what I see. Yeah, so I'm the driver.
Absolutely. So this evening we're gonna ease into it, but we're also gonna talk about a couple of pertinent things. But we're also just gonna lay back and chill and see what this night brings us with my first guest. So my first question is, what has been your battle or struggle with alignment?
Okay, before I answer that question, I would like to say thank you for inviting me to your space. This was very hard for her to do. This was not something that she woke up one day and was like, hey, let's do it. It took a while. I'm not going to tell you how long it took, but it took some time.
Yes, if you know me, then you know.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
And what was your question again?
What has been your battle or struggle with alignment?
My battle with alignment is the trauma that occurred in my childhood. So I was sexually abused as a child for years by someone in my family. The older adults in the family, everyone knew about it. I told my mom, and my mom, I'll never forget. I told my mom, and the next morning when I woke up, I woke up to my mother and my grandmother hollering. And my mother was saying to my grandmother, she said, why would you let this happen? How could you let this happen? And my grandmother told her, and this is something that stayed with me for a really long time, and it took years for me to really break this statement down. My grandmother's response was, it didn't happen.
How did that make you feel?
Horrible, because even in that moment, when I heard those words come from my grandmother's mouth, I knew, even though I was a little girl, I knew what happened to me was wrong. I knew it was. But the tricky thing is that in turn, I was the one who spoke up. My story never changed. Mm-hmm. It happened. Right. I stood on it. Yes. And wasn't no one gonna tell me that it didn't happen. Yeah. So as a result, I became almost like the black sheep. Mm-hmm. I was the one that was never celebrated. My birthdays was never celebrated. I remember growing up and seeing my grandmother get birthday cakes and things like that for my cousins and stuff, but not one for me. Mm-hmm. Never happened. And then also my mother was physically and verbally abusive to me because my mother was a heroin addict. Okay. And my dad was not active in my life. Okay. So from the point of my childhood, my whole self-identity was ripped from me. Okay. So I really, I didn't realize how unaligned I was until I was, 29 years old, almost 30.
Okay, and how old are you now?
I'm 32 years old.
Okay, right. So we're just now getting into the groove of discovery, Jasmine.
Absolutely.
So how are you enjoying it?
It's uncomfortable at times.
I like that answer. And that's a fucking
It's
real answer.
It's
like that
uncomfortable.
answer.
It's uncomfortable
Thank
because the thing. I like the clap. I like the claps. I like the claps. The thing is about this process is we oftentimes you hear so much on social media and even everybody giving advice, right? You have to heal, right? But no one talks about the process of healing.
Absolutely not. I agree.
Because it's levels to this shit.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like, hey, I was raped, I wasn't raised, I sold drugs, and while I'm cool.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't happen that way. Sorry, it doesn't go like that. But the tricky thing, one of the trickiest things about my healing / alignment process was once I completely addressed the trauma that occurred in my childhood, I realized that I was in a relationship with my trauma.
I like that. Absolutely.
I was tied to it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Would you say it's because it's all you knew?
It was the only thing that I allowed myself to feel. I literally. So what happened was, as I grew up, cannot hear.
You want more?
Yeah. So what happened was, as I grew up, in order to protect myself, I shut down. So I didn't even allow myself to feel. Because in order for me to be safe, I had to not feel.
Absolutely, I can agree with that.
And how does not feeling look, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not feeling looks like accepting what's being done to you.
Absolutely. And why do you think we accept things, even if they're not being done to us?
A lot of times we don't know. Another thing is we don't feel worthy of anything good. And then if God forbid your whole household is I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it. Bottom feeders.
That's the part.
That they only take shit.
That's the part. They always
hey, I want give me the shit.
Please.
Please.
Because I don't want to do anything.
Not
that
the
you've
good.
done. Give it to me.
Give it